content offline here. You're the only one getting it. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chiropractic Compass podcast. We are officially live with Season 3, Episode 3. This is Dr. Liam Schubel as our guest today, and I'm your host, Johnny Reuter. This podcast is brought to you by the legendary Chiropractor online community, and we are here. We were just off the scene, off camera, just firing ourselves up and getting ready for this podcast, for this show. Doc, you are in what you like to call and what people like to call the People's Republic, and that is New Jersey, and I'm so glad to have you tuning in all the way from New Jersey today. I'm in Atlanta, and this show is going to be epic, to say the least. So, Doc, without further ado, please give yourself a brief introduction for those new students watching. I'm going to share this all over Facebook while you are talking and introducing yourself, where you come from, and your small background in chiropractic. So go ahead, Doc.
Great. So I'm a 1995 graduate of Life University. I graduated summa cum laude, and I instantly learned that everything that I learned in school, 90% of it, had almost absolutely nothing to do with the successful practice of chiropractic. And as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. So from a very young age, I said, I better find people that are doing exactly what it is that I want to do. First, define what it is that I want to do, and then duplicate the way they think, duplicate the action steps they take, the way they speak, until I am achieving or manifesting in my life what it is that they have. I've written 2 books. One is called Cast to Be Chiropractors. It's the mindset of success in chiropractic. The second book is Schubel's Holy Grail of Business. It's the strategy to create a successful business. Who am I to talk about those subjects? Well, I have 20 chiropractic offices right now. I've been in practice for 23 years, so I've opened up almost one a year. And I got to tell you, anybody really can open up multiple practices. All it takes is finances and a thought that you can make it happen. But very few people over the test of time can manage that level of a complexity in business. And so we've grown over 23 years to 20 chiropractic offices. I currently have 25 chiropractic associates in my employ. I have been involved in education, politics, and research. I've taken a lot of the abundance that I've received from chiropractic. By the time I was 30, I never had to work again in my life financially. But I work more now than I ever have before, because I realize that we've been blessed with this thing called chiropractic. And those people that have been blessed have a moral obligation, in my view, to bring those blessings back to the world. And so I've been teaching a lot lately. I've been involved in education. I served on the board of trustees at Sherman College of Chiropractic, used the business systems that I applied to grow 20 chiropractic offices. I used those systems to apply towards the management and the strategic planning at Sherman College of Chiropractic. We took that school from my first day on the board saying we have to close it down, to now it's one of the fastest growing chiropractic colleges in the world. Then I moved on to research. I'm a well-known contributor to scientific research, because I understand that research and politics and public policy go hand in hand. I took over the presidency of the IFCO, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. And so far, I've been there, I think, 6 months, and we've brought the membership there to a record high in the history of the organization. Once again, using the principles of business success. I just find that, it's like Gonstead used to say, if chiropractic is so great and it appears not to work in a clinical application, don't question the principle of chiropractic, question the application of that principle. And I'll say the same for business. One of my favorite business books was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And in reality, if you follow the principles in that book, you cannot not excel and achieve abundance in your life. He states in the beginning of the book that the universe is abundant, and that's congruent with our chiropractic philosophy. And he says the reason most people don't have what they want in life is because they truly have not defined what it is that they want, number one. And second is they're not willing to sacrifice to truly achieve what it is that they want. And I've been working a lot with associates lately And one of the things that I've noticed in associates and also with my chiropractic doctor coaching clients is many times what we say we want and the action steps that we're taking in our life, when analyzed, are not congruent with each other. I'll give you an example. I was working with an associate, and I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to getting to these specific goals that you've stated you want to achieve? And you know what he told me? 10, Doc. 10. I'm trying as hard as I can.
Right.
I said, great. And I'm saying to myself, you've just dug yourself your own grave. Okay. So you ready for this? Okay. So listen, last week we had our conference call, and we discussed there the 3 ways to generate referrals in your office. Can you tell me what those 3 ways to generate referrals in the office are? I didn't write it down at that time. Okay, so you have a number 10 of commitment, right? So 10 commitment, by the way, Johnny, is somebody that will do whatever's morally and ethically necessary, to get to the goal or the what they want to achieve. And he said, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm off with that. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Have you done your visualizations and meditations and affirmations that we've given you in your training packet? No, I didn't do that. Okay, well, you set a goal of meeting 10 new people a day and telling them about chiropractic and the value that chiropractic can give to them. How many people did you meet yesterday? And so in this person's mind, and I don't say this to make fun of this person,
right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because this is the common man and
right.
woman. This is the common man, the way they think. You hear it all the time in the chiropractic profession. You hear it all the time in the business world. Oh, my gosh, my boss is such a bad person. He doesn't realize I'm trying as hard as I can. And I get that in their minds, they think they're trying as hard as they can. But when you take an objective analysis, and this is what the power of having a mentor or a coach or a accountability partner is, when you analyze the action steps, right? Because it's the only way that's going to get us what we want to truly achieve is action. That's it.
Yeah.
Mandela said, vision without action is daydreaming, and so what we have to do to bring about our vision and what it is that we want in our life is to be congruent in what we say we want and the action steps we want. We have to have a way to analyze those actions in order to decide, are these action steps congruent with what I say I want and how bad I'm willing to sacrifice, number one, and do I really want what I'm saying that I want? Do I want to be uncomfortable? Do I want to sacrifice? Do I want to grow? Another thing I hear a lot of times is, I don't really want to stress myself out. Okay. That would be like me going to the gym and saying, I don't really want to lift weights in here because it's going to stress my bones and my muscles out. I don't want to get that going on.
It's a bit much. It's a bit much.
That's fine. That's an okay answer. But I guarantee you will not grow with that answer in the gym. And the same thing happens with your business life. And I have to tell you, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see with chiropractic college students. There's actually 2. One is they think, like I thought, and I talk about in my book, Cast to Be Chiropractors, they think that everything they're learning in a CCE accredited institution, and I love this now because I'm not serving on the Sherman College of Chiropractic Board of Trustees, so I'm a free man. I can say whatever I want. The CCE stands, in my view, for the Council on Chiropractic Elimination. They're really teaching students in the CCE accredited institutions how to be second-rate medical doctors, how to diagnose and treat musculoskeletal conditions, and focus on the effects of a body that's malfunctioning instead of the cause. Now, you're lucky you're at Life University, so you're getting it as well. In spite of the CCE accreditation, you're getting it in the course load. I know that they're very big proponents of the vitalistic mindset. Sherman College of Chiropractic gets it, Life West gets it, but there's many doctors of chiropractic and students that truly are not getting a quality chiropractic education, number one. So that's against them. And they're thinking everything I learn here, like I wouldn't be, and by the way, I got to hand it to them. I mean, you would think logic would state, if I'm going to give an institution $250,000 of my hard-earned dollars, I should get an education that has me set upon graduation to be successful. Well, if you look at the default rates, and I love mathematics because the mathematics don't lie. If you look at the default rates on chiropractic loans, you can easily see, and I know the federal government is looking at these things, what they're charging for a chiropractic college education versus what the ROI is are not congruent. And so that would tell me that what they're teaching in many chiropractic colleges is not congruent with a successful business model in chiropractic. That's number one, the mistake that students make. The second mistake that students make is they think they have time. They think, I'll wait until I graduate, and then I'll adapt to whatever, whatever circumstances that come my way. And I have to tell you, I've got some very smart students that are working with us now in the Schubel Vision Elite program. You can check that out at schubelvisionelite.com. I'm sure we'll have the links in this, in this, the banners and everything like that.
Yep.
But here's the power of this. You know, you're paying a ton of money for each course that you have in college, right? I mean, it's not, I can tell you this, it's not $75 a month to go to chiropractic college, okay? Yet in our group, the schubelvisionelite.com, for $75 a month, you have access to me in a private Facebook page. You have all the videos, all the scripting, all the documents, and a mastermind group of committed chiropractors and chiropractic students that are focused on one thing, being successful in the chiropractic practice. See, my view is this. Every chiropractor should have time freedom. They should be able to take time off. They should be able to spend time with their family. Well, in order to do that, they have to have financial abundance. So there's principles that bring that about, and we're going to talk about that in this podcast. And then they should also, so they have time freedom, financial abundance, and high-level clinical outcomes, so that when every chiropractic practice member walks into your office, they're getting the best. There's no bait and switch going on. There is, this is what we do, this is what we say we're going to do, we're going to do it at a high level, and we're going to be able to show you objectively that we've made that happen. That, my friend, makes chiropractic look good, and that, my friend, causes people to refer and speak highly of us. So we're about that. Those are our fundamentals at schubelvisionelite.com. And again, we have a lot of students because our rate right now is $75 a month. We're going to raise it soon to, I think, September 1st to $99 a month.
Yep.
But here's why I'm saying this. The preamble to this is this. Students think that they have time. So they think they're going to wait till they graduate, and then I'll focus on my doctor business stuff. Right? I have to tell you, when you have $250,000 a student loan, you've got a ticking time bomb that they've strapped to your chest and locked it in that you can't get away from. So the smart money, and I always say this in Schubel Vision Elite, the smart money goes with us. The smart money plans ahead, right? Prior planning prevents poor performance. The 4 Ps, right? So here is the story. We have students right now that are working with us. They're 2-3 years out of graduation, and they are going through in their minds all the questions that they would have had when they decided to open their doors. So can you imagine what happens on graduation day? On graduation day, they go, I already know it all. I'm ready to rock and roll. I got my plan set up. I had one student last week that was all gung-ho on a location. And it was totally the wrong location. I mean, everybody that was looking at it was like, holy smokes, I can't believe you're thinking about this. This is no disrespect to the student. How could you know? I would have made the same mistake myself if I didn't have mentors, you know?
Yep.
But I've opened up 20 chiropractic offices, so I've done this a few times. I know what you should be looking for in contracts. I know what you should be looking for in demographics. I know what you should be doing for your target audience. I know how to develop relationships and market and bring people in. So all these kind of things we went through, and by the end of the result, we also found out that where he was going to practice was not congruent with what he wanted in his life. So if you can imagine, I was opening up a practice, this isn't the real example, but I love New York City. It's my passion. My whole family lives there. That's where I want to practice. But I got a great deal to open up in, the Midwest, in Chicago, or, in a small town in Kentucky. Okay, that makes no sense because you have to go if you're going to. I mean, what are we doing all this for, right? In the end result, we want to have a level of fulfillment in our lives. So pick the place that you want to be, and then figure out the how you're going to make that work in under the market conditions that are available to you. So these are the kind of things that I think chiropractic students should be working right now in some type of mentorship group. Now, There's a famous saying that chiropractors eat their own. I have, and by the way, if you're watching this, be careful, because there are management groups that are going to come into your school, maybe even approved by the administration. They are going to say things like, we have a high level of integrity. I promise you, if you sign on this contract, we won't hold it to you. We won't hold you to that contract of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. You can leave if you're not happy at any time. Well, guess what? We just had a person in one of our groups that signed up with a company that does chiropractic consulting, and they were on the hook for a big number, $36,000. And they're saying, this is not congruent with who I am. This is not congruent with the way I practice. And guess what? They told me verbally I could get out of this contract at any time. I just told them I want out of it, and they said, did you read the fine print of the contract? Hi-oh!
Yeah.
So here this person is learning now in our group for $75 a month, soon to be $99 a month, but contracted to an organization that they were paying $1,000, $3,000 a month. Don't let that happen to you. You have to look at you have to look and understand, who are you going to mentor with? Mentor with people that are doing what you want to do. One of my other partners in the Schubel Vision Elite is Dr. Frank Hahn. $1 million a year practice in the People's Republic of New Jersey. And mostly cash, by the way. Almost no insurance. $1 million. Now, when I say $1 million, anybody says $1 million. That's the catchword every day. Oh, I got $1 million practice. I'll show you how to make $1 million practice. Well, I know a lot of people that have $1 million practices that have gone under because they had $1 million gross income practice with $999,000 worth of expenses and overhead. So if you can live on $1,000, good for you. But most people can't during the course of a year. So again, this is what you have to silt through the intelligence and the non-intelligent statements that are made on Facebook and social media. $1 million practice to me, when I'm telling you that, I'm talking about netting. I could care less what you gross. It's absolutely unimportant to me. What's important is, what do you take home? What can you use to create abundance in your life, which creates the time freedom? Because that's why we love money, by the way. I don't love money because of the avariceness of loving money. I love money because the freedom that it allows me to do things. It allows me to contribute back at a greater level because I'm not functioning on a survival mechanism. I'm functioning on a level where I have abundance and I can give back. And so this is where I want everybody to get in the chiropractic profession, and it starts from school. We talked about opening up a chiropractic practice. We talked a little about scripting. You know, the docs, the students that are in our program right now, they're actually learning how to intake a patient. How do you do, but by the way, not how you learn in school. How to communicate in a way that's persuasive. How to communicate in a way where you're not begging people to come in. They're actually suggesting to you people that should be in your office, right? You're not in a position where you're hoping that people are going to pay the price you're asking for the care. You're in a position where people are interrupting you and saying, listen, doc, I got it. Where do I sign on the dotted line, and when can I bring my wife and my kids? That's where you need to get in your communication skills, and it doesn't happen on graduation day. So we're going over all the scripting that creates referrals, all the scripting that creates what we call conversion, taking a person, and here's the other big thing, the other big skill that you got to develop is you're going to have people that come into your office for an objective that's not congruent with the chiropractic objective, right? The chiropractic objective is to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. Now, you can be Mr. Philosopher and go, oh, I'm sorry, we are philosophers here, and then have an empty office, okay? What you have to learn is how to communicate with them in a way so that your objective actually makes better sense to them than the objective that they came in with. That's called converting somebody. That's called converting. Some people would call that your sales strategy. And here's what I find in the chiropractic social media online presence that people have. And you'll see them all over the place, these mentorship groups and coaching groups. I'm going to show you how to bring in 100 new patients this month, doing no work whatsoever. I'm going to sell them on Facebook on one thing that has nothing to do with chiropractic, and then they're going to come in and you're going to try to sell them on a care plan. That is insane. And then they'll say things like the chiropractor has 100 new patients and they're closing 2. And they'll say things, well, the chiropractor will be saying, hey, these leads you're sending me are absolutely weak, right? I need somebody that actually wants chiropractic care, who's even considering chiropractic care, who has an idea of what chiropractic care is before they come into my office.
Yeah.
They're pre-sold, they're pre-suaded in the advertising and marketing department. And the person will say, oh no, the leads aren't weak, you're weak. Like, that scene from Glengarry Glen Ross, that great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, you gotta watch it. So listen, instead of blaming the leads, and instead of blaming your inability to convert, why don't you learn the communication that it takes, number one, to market congruently and not bait and switch, and then also in the office have all your communication congruent with a doctor of chiropractic that inspires people. See, when you're desperate, people can read it on your nonverbal communication. And this is why, there's so many components to systems here, and I'm going to be all over the place. There's 5 core systems that you need to develop if you're a student or if you're a chiropractor. This is the way to grow and scale your practice. And there's elements of each of these that different chiropractic coaching and mentoring groups have. There are people that say, we're the kings of marketing. There are people that are the kings of sales, and they truly are, I can tell you. There are people that say, we are the kings of communication. Well, listen, every business I know has all 3 of those components, but guess what? They're in unison. Mm-hmm. They all work together. So here's where the 5 components come in. The Schubel Vision Elite 5 key core components of growing and scaling your business, your chiropractic business. Number 1, mindset. And we'll talk about that a little bit later if you want, but mindset is key. And how is mindset key? Because it's related to your nonverbal communication. I gave an example when I lived in Peru and I was dating a Peruvian female. This is the kind of things that she would say. Oh, sure, you can go out by yourself on Friday night. Go ahead. Now, do you think it's a good idea to go out?
Probably not.
Even though she said it, right? The words were, you could go out, right? So I could be an idiot and go, but you said, honey, that I could go out on Friday night by myself, right? Well, what am I reading off of her?
The nonverbal.
The nonverbal communication. And so this is the challenge. There's so many doctors of chiropractic that I work with that are failing. I mean, they have, 50 new patients in a month, and they can only, convert 5 of them. So they've got a ridiculous close rate, or conversion rate in their offices. And a lot of times when it gets down to it, guess what? Their mindset is one of, what I'm doing is expensive. This is not valuable. I'm not even sure if I can help you. Oh, I hope you come in because I really got to pay my car payment and my mortgage this week. Right? That's the whatever you have in your mind. Right? Whatever the mind can conceive and achieve, it can conceive and believe it can achieve, right?
Yep.
So whatever you have in your mind, what you have to understand is that is expressing in your physiology. I've taken tons of programming, and I've had a lot of instruction in neuro-linguistic programming, and we use it. We're one of the only groups that use it in our scripting. And people say, why do you do that? It's because there are very specific word choices that we can use in our communication that elicit very specific neurophysiological responses of, yes, I'm in. I want to be a part of this. So if you understand that, if advertisers understand that, if presenters on stage understand that, why wouldn't you use that in your chiropractic business to get ahead? And listen, we've done this. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. I've done the painstaking research with my associates now over 23 years. I've trained over 200 associates. And this is how painful it is to work with me. You ready? So they always say, Schubel is on me again. Yes, because we strive for perfection. Why? Because people's lives are on the line. Once you understand the gravity of the situation, you must present with action steps that are congruent with the gravity of the situation.
Yes.
If what I'm saying and doing as a chiropractor and what I'm thinking has the ability to transform and evolve people's lives, that means if I'm not doing it at my optimum, Today, people will die. Today, people will become paralyzed. Today, people will become intoxicated because I wasn't at the top of my game. You see, when you understand the gravity of the situation, and you understand you have a moral obligation to help these people, and it no longer becomes about you, because that's what people ask me with volume. I saw 1,000 visits a week, and I don't recommend that for everybody. Some people volume's their thing, some people's not. I'm for volume as long as you're getting paid, a valuable price for what it is that you're doing.
Right.
I find a lot of people put volume in because they're sacrificing the value. So I saw 1,000 people a week, and I didn't give away my care. But here's the thing about a person that develops 1,000 a week. It's ironic. To some people, it may seem ironic. To me, it's in line with natural law. People say, how do you get to 200, 300, 400, 500 visits a week? And my answer is this: you've got to eliminate yourself. What? You've got to eliminate your ego. The less your practice becomes about you, and the more that your burning desire is how to see more of them and improve the quality of your service to them, if they are on your mind 24 hours, 7 days a week, then guess what? Your action steps bring more of them in. And here's the challenge with this young generation of whippersnappers. It's all about me, baby. Look at me on the social media. Look at my selfie. Look at where I was. Look at what I'm doing. Look at the car I'm driving. Hey, listen, to me, here's what makes you valuable as a chiropractor. And people went to jail for this. How many people you serve and the quality of your service. That's all that matters to me.
Yep.
That's what makes a chiropractor, not the car they drive, because all that stuff is great. I love it, by the way. I love nice cars. We just had one of our members in Schubel Vision Elite, get this, he used our systems, and he now, this past month, bought himself, paid cash, $109,000 Mercedes. He wrote a check for $109,000 for one of these Mercedes-Benz. And I think like 3% of all Mercedes owners own this car. It's like the elite of the elite Mercedes. And he said, my only problem now is my wife wants one. So listen, that was the short answer for the first thing, mindset, right? So mindset is the first component to growing and scaling your business.
Let me cut you off real quick, because I know you want to get into the 4, and I want to hear about the 4, and we also have those other 2 topics that we need to talk about. So let's go. Let me backtrack here for everyone watching. Thank you so much, Dr. Liam. Thank you for your passion. I absolutely love it. I love this, and you can watch that. That was 25 minutes of raw, authentic honesty coming from one of the greats in chiropractic. So you honestly, if you don't repeat this and watch this over and over and over again, from just that 25 minutes of an introduction and of systems and procedures of business, you're doing yourself a disservice. Would you agree, Doc?
Well, certainly, and you and I were having this conversation offline, is that, I was watching an interview recently with the founder of Alibaba, that gigantic, like Amazon.com type corporation. And he was talking about the poverty mindset. And he was saying, the poverty mindset will look at we look at as opportunity, and they will look at it as like, see, the whole world is pitted against me. So people could be watching this right now and saying, this is what the poverty mindset is saying. Oh, yeah, look at that Schubel guy. He's just trying to sell his SchubelVisionElite.com program. Oh, look at Johnny. He's just trying to sell this legendary chiropractor, Or, you know what, that information may have worked for that guy, but that's because he's lucky. He's in a certain town. That's why he was able to buy his Mercedes. By the way, if you saw the town he was in, you can't even believe it, right? So, they will find, the poverty consciousness will find, even with free content, like, oh, if this was any valuable, if this was valuable at all, they wouldn't be giving this away like we're doing right now on the online. And that's what will happen. Yep. Throughout the rest of their life, they'll say, the only people who get wealthy in this world, the only people who are successful in this world are the people that cheat other people, the people that are greedy, the people that have a level of avarice, the people that only care about themselves, right? They'll come up with all these kind of definitions. And if that's the definition of success, cheating other people, being greedy for money, well, then listen, I don't even want to be a part of it.
Right.
And,
right.
and so because they don't want to be a part of it, they've made such strong associations and negativity towards wealth and success, they'll never have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll complain their whole life of where they are and that everybody else is lucky. I never get the opportunities. Well, listen, the opportunity right now is knocking on your door. Here's the thing I can't do for you. I can't make you pull the trigger.
Right.
I cannot make you take action. So I know what I'm doing. And by the way, I don't even have to do this. I don't have to do this call with you. You think I need your $75 a month, your $99 a month? I don't need it at all. But what I'm sick and tired of is this profession crying, whining, and moaning that they don't have any time freedom. They can't take off time with their family and vacation. They're a slave to their practice. They're not working on their practice. They're working in their practice. They're an employee. I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, I'd love to support chiropractic research. I'd love to support chiropractic education. I'd love to support the political movement in chiropractic, but I don't have any money. And the incongruence of that, because if we have this thing called chiropractic, we're the only profession in the world that's highly qualified to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation to liberate the optimal expression of life. We allow people to function and heal at their highest level. And we're having a tough time making a living. That's not congruent.
Right.
That's not congruent. And that's why I said Gonstead made that statement of, if the principle, or if what you're doing doesn't appear to work, don't question the principle, question the application of the principle. And what I've done and what I've united in both my books, Castity Chiropractors and Schubel's Holy Grail of Business, that are available on Amazon, and in our SchubelVisionElite.com program, is I've united the mindset and the strategy of Think and Grow Rich with the chiropractic principles. So if that sounds like something that you could benefit and value and you find value in, well, then jump on board. But if you're looking for the next get-rich-quick scheme, and this is what you see all the time, hey, you can get rich quick, no effort, just give us a ton of money, and you're going to get rich quick. A lot of people are calling me lately the Warren Buffett of chiropractic. I'm not flashy. I could have all the cars. I could drive the Lambo. I could live in a house 10 times the size that the one I live in. Guess what? I have so much money in the bank that I am unstoppable. I can fund anything I want in this world. And I choose not to fund it on mostly material things. That's just my thing. I travel all over the world. I'm going hiking for a week in Telluride. Time freedom is way important to me.
Awesome.
I'm going hiking for a week next week. I'll see you at Mile High.
Yep.
And then I'm going for 2 weeks with my family to the south of France.
Awesome.
And we're going to have a great time. So, I'm not against all those material things. Well, what I'm saying to you is that it's not about that in the end. In the end, you and I are both going to be fertilizer for plants. Okay? So the only thing that's going to create value for what we've done is the legacy. Our legacy is going to be how many people have we helped and what was the quality of the services. And what I want to teach doctors of chiropractic and students is how to do that successfully. I mean, is that too much to ask? This is what sometimes I feel like I want for you people more than what you even want for yourself. And I used to say with patients, I wouldn't work with them. I said, you know what? I can't care more about your health than you do.
Right.
So if you're not going to follow my recommendations here, that's a reflection of the results I'm going to get in my office.
Yeah.
I'm going to set you free. I'm going to send you to another chiropractor where you can dictate the terms to him. But in my office, we're about excellence, we're about love, and we're about results. If you're congruent with that, come on board.
Right.
If you're not, no offense.
Yeah.
And I say that, by the way, this is a tip for those watching. Sometimes people are afraid to fire people. I fire patients. I fire staff. I'll fire everybody. I'm like, the Donald Trump of chiropractic in that term. I fire people. I've made a lot of enemies that way in chiropractic education, in chiropractic politics, because when I see that a person is a blockage, what they're doing is blocking the objective and the mission and the vision that we claim to share, then I have a moral obligation to move them aside, to free them up, to serve another objective or mission that they're more passionate about.
Right.
And that's how I look when I fire somebody. It's not a personal thing. I'm doing it so that you can go function at whatever level you want at another operation, at another mission or vision that maybe you're more passionate about. And that's going to allow me to work with somebody that's passionate about the mission and vision that we're working with.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think so many people are afraid to do that. And I find every time I fire somebody that's a blockage, every part of my business takes over.
Yeah.
It goes up to another level. I have chiropractors that are being held hostage by their CAs or by their the people that they work with. It ain't going to happen. The mission and the vision is too important. Remember this. I always put it in this terms. People are like, how come you can be so, it's like almost like people love me and hate me for this. How can you be so direct? You're so like brutally honest and direct sometimes. And people love you for that or they hate you for that. And I say because I recognize this. I recognize what's at stake. And what's at stake is people's lives. When we're talking seeing 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people a week, it's not for my ego. And look at all the people I'm seeing. It's because those numbers represent people's lives.
Yeah.
So Johnny, that's again, we're still talking a little bit about mindset there. We're throwing some other topics. I was going to go on to the next topic of marketing. I don't know if is that where you want to go, or did you want to bring me in another direction?
Yeah, give me 1 second. So here's the thing, guys. If you are interested in this, head to SchubelVisionElite.com now, because the prices will go up September 1st to $99 from $75 a month right now. So get in on the ground level, get in with Dr. Liam, get in with all of the other chiropractors and students in there, learning these systems, learning these procedures. And it's not a practice management group, right? It's a mentorship. It's guiding you along the way and not pressuring you, but it's pushing you rather. There it is. It's pushing you to become the best chiropractor that you can possibly become. So I want to circle back quick on a couple things that I wrote down while you were talking at the beginning of this episode. And one was, look in the mirror first. Like you used the Gonstead quote, right? That was like, don't look at the problem with the principles or the adjusting. Look at the application of which, right? And that, I think, is a direct reflection of looking at yourself. And I posted a quote on Instagram yesterday that said, be clear on what you want, right? You have to be clear on what you want. And once you start thinking about stuff, once you start thinking and constantly having this on your mind, it will eventually come to fruition. However, not without a little bit or a lot of work. Like, you have to be able to put in the work in order for something that you're thinking about constantly to come to fruition. You can't, like you said, that kid was like, I'm 10 out of 10, all invested. Are you, right? Like, are you doing everything you possibly can that you know of and using all of your available resources to benefit your progression towards success further? Is that happening? And I think that those are really important points. So look at yourself first. Look in the mirror, understand what's going on in here, and then take it to the next level with applying the systems of business and procedures. And then you mentioned sacrifice, Doc. Sacrifice is huge, right? Like, you have to have your ducks in a line, right? And say, what am I willing to give up or add to my success or my path to success of being the best chiropractor I can possibly be? And I think that is so important that you said that, because a lot of people think, I can just scoot on through graduation. They hand me an empty envelope, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap. Where do I go? I have no idea what to do. Nobody taught me any of this, right? And I'm about to be there, right? But this is why I talk to people like you. I go back and watch these episodes 5 to 50 times. It's like, I want to take notes and learn about this stuff and learn about the systems and procedures, because I want to be able to help not only myself, but I want to be able to help what you've helped me do and what others, help others down the road. And I think it's so important to have these conversations and use this resource of this podcast and your talks as value. Even though it's free, you have to know how to use it. You have to know how to use free content. So with that being said, Doc, let's get back into it. Do you want to stick with the five principles of your business success, or do you want to go into starting a new practice or value systems?
I do. I want to stick to it because, by the way, they're directly related. Just so you know, they're not separate.
Right.
They're directly related
Right.
to opening up your practice, and they're definitely related to value. So it's a perfect lead-in what you just gave me. You're an excellent interviewer, Johnny. We're going to talk about marketing right now. And, you know, we just had one of our docs spend 5 hours at, I don't know, a community fair or something this weekend, and he scheduled 49 new patients for his office. I mean, you think about the finances on that. Yet I hear doctors of chiropractic and coaches and people selling you the next get-rich-quick scheme, you know, process saying, oh, spinal screenings, that's like jumping around like a monkey in front of Walmart or something like that. And I'm saying, okay, does so that's your impression of it. To me, number one, that tells me you really don't understand it. Number two, because that's not what we're doing. I would not be in favor of jumping around in a clown suit in front of Walmart or Sam's Club. Not in favor of
with
that.
With a spine.
So if that's what you think an educational booth is about, then maybe you have a low opinion of what chiropractic is about. Because the way I look at an educational booth is, again, the opportunity to save people's lives. Those 49 people, who knows that if they didn't get chiropractic care, one would die. One would be paralyzed. Another one would be intoxicated. How are their kids going to be? So once you understand the gravity of this, that's one thing. So I truly believe that the educational booth, what some people would call spinal screening, the one that we have, that Dr. Frankie Hahn, my cohort, and Dr. Judd O'Grady developed in our Schubel Vision Elite program, it's the best in the business. It's so good. It is so good, Johnny, that we've had people from other groups begging us to share it with them so that they could offer it in their group, right? So I mean, they know they're weak. Right. So instead of saying, hey, listen, I know I'm weak, they start to badmouth the spinal screening and the educational process. And here's what happens. People say, you know, I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to spend my weekends. Hey, I get that. Initially, guess what? You're going to have to be uncomfortable. You're going to have, because you have to learn to be the master, right? You have nothing but time. You don't have any new patients. And by the way, if you put people that come in from an educational booth or what you call spinal screening into the office, those 49 scheduled, versus 100 scheduled from some crazy Facebook ad that's going to sell you, I don't know, some foot levelers, and then when you get in there for the free foot levelers, you're going to go, hey, I want you to buy a $4,000 chiropractic care plan. Oh, what? That's a surprise to you? You didn't see that coming? Bait and then the switch. Like, gosh, I think that's more clownish than setting up in front of Sam's Club or Walmart. But there's a thing called qualified leads, and that's what we do at an educational booth. And that's why, and by the way, guess what that costs? I think Dr. Frankie Hahn, he did the numbers on this, and he had $300,000 come in from doing educational booths.
Wow.
And here's how much it cost him. Under $1,000. So listen, I don't know about you, Johnny, but if you said to me, hey, Dr. Schubel, you give me $1,000 and I'll give you $300,000 this year, I would be going, let me take a loan out of the bank for my whole life entire saving and give you $1,000 increments, as much as I possibly can. So that's one. The other misunderstanding, and again, I get the misunderstanding because a lot of people haven't run an empire, kind of like I've run, like 20 chiropractic offices successfully over 23 years. So many people that are giving advice have started these offices and then over time shrunk because, again, here's the shiny thing, and then there's no fundamentals. Remember, Warren Buffett, the fundamentals, that's the key. You have to have the fundamentals. So what a lot of people that have never really run big businesses for a long period of time don't understand, there's a thing called delegation. There's a thing called compartmentalization. And by the way, you can read a book called The E-Myth, Michael Gerber. It's genius, okay? And get this. So here's what our doctors do. They master that spinal screening or educational booth that brings in qualified leads. Dr. Frank will go to a county fair and bring in 120. He'll have 125 people scheduled, over the next month. He has so many new patients that he's one of the most popular doctors in New Jersey because he has to send them out to other doctors. So, imagine how friendly people are with Frankie Hahn because he's sending them patients. They're not even part of his practice. So this is the great thing about this. Well, any big businessman knows about the power of delegation and compartmentalization. And so what Frankie Hahn has done is he's not the guy out there doing the spinal screenings. And this is why we make it an educational booth, right? Spinal screening, a lot of times you need a doctor in certain states to do the analysis, right? You have to have a doctor of chiropractic to do a spinal analysis. But if you do an educational booth, and we show you exactly how to do this, you can get same or better results than what's called the spinal screening traditionally that people do, and you can do it with a layperson. So he has a person that's not even a doctor of chiropractic out there scheduling patients for him while he's sleeping or, at his pool at Princess Oasis there, and on a weekend, we're downing as many lobsters and steaks that we can. It's really what we do with food is ridiculous. But, you can do whatever you want. So you imagine this. And so this is my thing. If you're a smart businessman, this is why people always say the smart money is with Schubel Vision Elite, because of the way we think. Would you ever not do what people would call spinal screenings or educational booth, especially if they work? Would you ever not have that as part of your marketing entourage?
Right.
It would be insane, right?
Yeah.
If I said to you, hey, Johnny, I know you're doing Facebook ads, and let's just say, to be positive, they're killing it. You're not doing any effort, Johnny. You got a lot of new patients coming in with Facebook ads. And I said to you, listen, there's another way that you can teach and then delegate and compartmentalize and have somebody else doing it that'll bring you in, Johnny, an extra $300,000. Would you say, nope, that's for clowns at Walmart? You'd say, as a business person, you'd say, I'd be nuts not to do
Right.
that. I'd be stupid as a business person not to do that. And so that's why, again, we do Facebook marketing, we do Instagram marketing, we do Google ads, we do all this stuff, but you're insane if you're not using your entire arsenal. If you're leaving $300,000 on the table,
Yes.
and I'm talking just from a financial perspective, I'm saying that from a business standpoint, but really, what you're leaving on the table are people's lives. Again, bringing that back. A lot of people just look at the money. What I'm constantly looking at is people's lives. How many lives are we leaving out there because we're too uncomfortable or we're too stupid to know that that spinal screening or what we call educational booths bring in phenomenal, ready this word, qualified leads that not only want chiropractic care for your office, and this is the crackpot thing, this is the thing that I think people get so surprised at, because of our communication strategies that we follow up with, most of those new practice members are going to be referring in other people. So can you imagine that? It's almost if you had a system that could guarantee a high percentage of conversion rates from an educational booth, and then on top of that, a high percentage of those people that just converted for care within the first week or two sending you more new practice members. I mean, does that sound like win? And, oh, hello, win on top of that. And that's what I think. My only concern in SchubelVisionElite.com is that people are going to get sick and tired of winning so much. I mean, this is my big concern what I have over there. So anyway, if you're intelligent, if you understand business, if you're smart about money, then these are the kind of things you think, and these are the kind of action steps you take. So we talked about, and this applies to obviously opening up your own practice, right? You have to have the mindset we talked about. I touched on the very surface of that. We have to have the marketing down, right? If you have no patients, who cares, right? So that you have to have new patients. You have to have multiple funnels, multiple systems to bring that in. And I talked about just the tippy of that. I mean, that's tippy top. But even with what I just shared with you, you can make a ton of money and see a lot of new people, help a lot of new people. So we talked about marketing. We talked about sales, right? And that sales, the power of conversion, we talked about being, and this all goes in line with mindset and communication, that idea of assuming the sale. There's a mindset that we have in our office that from the very first moment that somebody comes in, we automatically assume that nothing is random in the universe. We assume that that practice member is with us because we can help them. So imagine what your nonverbal communication is when you assume that you can help that person and you assume that that person is going to sign up for lifetime care with you. Imagine how powerful your nonverbal communication is when that's in your mindset. I'm absolutely astonished out of my mind when somebody doesn't sign up for care, because it means they didn't understand my message, my fault, or they're incapable of understanding the message, right? Maybe there's some kind of, learning disability that they have or something like that that's preventing it. But again, that's my fault. a lot of people, when people aren't signing up for care, they start to blame the economy, they start to blame this, that, and the other. So my point is this. You have to have systems for mindset, you have to have systems for marketing, we talked about that, and you have to have systems for conversion. And all those things play into each other, and you should have specific stats on what you're saying and doing in your conversion process. And we film this, by the way. We film the conversion process with my associates so that I can watch. It's amazing the dumb things that people are saying and doing when they're in the box, as my good friend Dan Bai likes to say, and Sean Rundle and Jennifer Rosenhart from Close for Chiros. Love those guys. When you're in the box with the patient, it's amazing the stupid things that people say and do. And one of the things you'll see is doctors going on the defensive. Doctors speaking with in this fashion. Okay? And what I want to ask is, as a patient, how do I know if it's okay? You're the doctor. Doctor, why did you tell me? And what it's really non-verbally, it's actual verbal, but what it's saying unconsciously to the patient is, I'm not really sure of my own recommendations. Yep. I'm not really sure of the value.
You're not confident.
This is one of the things I say at the very end when I'm converting, and this is gold, by the way, so if you're at home and write this down. One of the things I say at the end is, okay, Mr. Jones, so you've seen here that what you have is a serious problem, and you've seen that we have a solution. You've seen the testimonials that we have in this office, and you've seen that we get excellent results. I've recommended you the care plans that we have here. There's 3 different care plans that we have in this office. What I'm going to ask you to do right now is to go outside and pick the care plan. My CA is going to explain the different care plans. You're going to pick the one that's most convenient for you, and then you'll come back and start getting your chiropractic care. Do you understand? Not okay?
Right.
Okay? Is that okay? Right? So the idea is this. Change out okay for do you understand? Mm-hmm. Is that clear? That's more of a level of authority, and that's more of a level of certainty. And this is what people lack, right? Is certainty and authority in their communication, especially new graduates, because they don't have the experience. You can overcome that lack of experience if you have certainty and authority. And the founder of Life University used to tell me, Sid Williams used to go, boy, you got to learn how to talk with authority. And I didn't understand what he meant, how powerful that is.
Yeah.
So you have to listen. What I'm doing right there is telling them what their future is going to be. And then right when they leave, guess what I say? Welcome aboard, Johnny. Welcome aboard? I haven't even signed up yet. You know what I mean? They don't say that, but I'm saying in the mindset, they're saying, oh, I'm already aboard. That's why he's welcoming me. Oh, I guess I'm going to sign up. That's why these are not the droids you're looking for. That's exactly right. These are not the droids you're looking for. So, you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is a combination of neuro-linguistic programming and superior persuasion mindset. And so this is what we work on in our communication strategy. So we have, again, the fundamentals, because we're getting to a close here. I was like going, are we really going to be able to do an hour? And it's like, oh my gosh, we're stuck for time again. Up through number 3, right? So number 1 is mindset. Number 2 is marketing. And you can imagine how much content is inside JubelVisionElite.com. This is what I'm saying. $75 a month, we're giving it away. And by the way, I didn't mention, no contracts. So if you say this is not for you, you're out. Done. It's like not like, okay, you owe me your life for the next 3 years. So here we go. We got mindset, we've got marketing, we've got conversion, what some people would call sales. We have communication, which we just talked about. And then the final thing is staff hiring, training, and motivation. And there's ways that we show you, and it's something like in this venue we really can't go into, but there's ways that we show you inside of the group how to hire superstars, how to train and motivate them, so that every person that's working in your operation is an investment, not an expense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that puts the lid on it, Johnny, unless you got something else. I think we're at 59 minutes.
I think you nailed it. We're at exactly 54 minutes. That was awesome, Doc. I appreciate you coming on, and I love to just sit back because I take full pages of notes, and I always come back to these. I always refer back. I got now 3 pages of Dr. Liam Schubel notes that I could probably just sell these on eBay, but no.
Someday if you apply those, Johnny, someday they'll call you lucky.
That's right. But thank you so much, Doc, for being on the show again. We will be starting season 4 in the fall, so I will definitely be reaching out again as per usual. We'll have you on the show because I know that your content, your value is so worth people hearing and listening to and watching, because when you not only talk about neurolinguistics, when you not only hear the words, but you see the passion, right? You hear the passion, you see the passion also. That's what draws people in to say, okay, it's time to pull that trigger, right? It's time to sign up for Schubel Vision Elite. It's time to do this, right? And it's the authority, the confidence, the competence that you know, and that is what gets people to do what you want them to.
You are correct, and it's authenticity.
Yes.
Because authenticity, I got to get, again, you look on the social media, there's a lot of fakers out there, in the social media, pushing what they are, what you see, the get-rich-quick schemers. What you see on the forefront is not what's going on behind them. And so authenticity is a high-level currency in today's world, number one. Number two, you made a great point. People don't make decisions, and Dan Bai talks about this all the time for Close for Kairos, and Sean Rundle and Jennifer Rosenhart. People don't make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on emotion. Mm-hmm. And so if in your communication, you're not layering in emotion, passion, you are doing yourself and the people that you serve a disservice. So you need to learn these strategies and techniques. You can't go in cold. My buddy, Dr. Fred Schofield used to say, you can't be, rolling the dice with people's lives. You got to be on point. You got to be on target. I want to say, give a shout out to Brandy Morgan. She's been making some nice comments on the program.
Yep.
And I also want to, I think it's been pretty much established here that this has been the best podcast ever, even better than Danny Knowles'. I mean, I didn't think I could beat it, but, we actually did that today. So, and I look forward to seeing everybody at Mile High. I got to tell you, if you're not at Mile High next weekend, you're just going to be another one of those people. How come nothing good ever happens to me? No opportunity ever comes my way. And I'm telling you this in all seriousness. People say that. I am going to see people this year that last year said, Dr. Schubel, I'm not sure if I should pull the trigger on this SchubelVisionElite.com. And guess what? Those same people have bought the Mercedes-Benz for $109,000 cash. Those same people just had a record month in their practice. Those same people had the first time off in their history of practice of chiropractic. We're talking 8 or 10 years with their family, with their wife, because they decided to pull the trigger, because they came into our sphere of influence, because they're hanging out with people. And this is what the value of Mile High is. They're hanging out with people that are functioning on a high level, and they're going to duplicate what it is they think, say, and do to achieve and manifest similar results. Johnny, a great pleasure to be with you today.
Bam. Great pleasure. Likewise. To recap, just real quick, what you said, the 3 things that are most chiropractic students are missing is not a successful, or are missing, are not a successful business model, so they don't have the proper skills and mindset going into business to understand what they're missing. So get your business model correct before going out, before crossing that stage. You have to understand if you're going to open up your practice, or even if you're going to associate, you can model this to match whatever situation you're going into. And then number 2 was they think they have time. We don't have time, guys. Time is of the essence. Time is not only of the essence with your patient and their care, but time is of the essence with you in school and getting your business on the ground and running. And the third thing is a mentorship group. You got to have a mentorship group. You got to have mentors and coaches to help you along the way, to guide you. Because, yeah, you're going to fall in potholes, but they're not going to be black holes. They're not just going to suck you up. And, if you don't have a mentor or a coach, they are going to be black holes, and you're going to have a really, really hard time coming out of them. But if you can just hit a dip here and there, and a mentor or a coach guide you along that path of struggle for that bit of time, it's all worth it in the end. So find yourself a mentorship group. Find yourself some sort of coaching group or people that align with you. Go hang out at Mile High August 15th through the 18th. It's going to be a great time. Dr. Liam Schubel and I will be there. Dr. Danny Knowles will be there. It's going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal time. And then last but not least, Doc, we got to conclude with the 5 business systems, 5 successes of business systems, and that's mindset, marketing, sales or conversions, communication, and staff, the hiring, training, and motivation of which. So thank you all so much for being on the Chiropractic Compass podcast today. This is season 3, episode 3 with Dr. Liam Schubel. Head to thelegendarychiropractor.com now for all of your chiropractic needs. It is the virtual one-stop shop for everything chiropractic, and we have so much more to come. Also head to SchubelVisionElite.com to get in on the early bird. I guess it's not early bird. It's been around for a while, but get in on the discounted price of $75 because it's going to go up to $99 come September 1st. And you've seen the value that Dr. Liam Schubel offers, and it only, I'm sure, increases when you're in the group. So no contracts with that. Doc, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for tuning in from New Jersey, and I will see you at Mile High, of course.
My pleasure.